Lots happening sports-wise. Cricket is one, of course. Sigma is happening, and we've got a full program to the max, if you will, inside of the program this morning. 6:36, Sunday, February 15, going through until 10 o'clock. Well, the big A comes in with the Sunday sunshine. But I've got a very special co-host in studio this morning, and we're going to be winging it because we're both experienced radio presenters, broadcasters, producers, and then some, because some of us are filmmakers on top of it all. So we're winging it nicely. You would not believe who's in studio with me. You wouldn't believe that. I know you won't believe it. I'm not even going to introduce. I'm just going to have her say good morning first. Greetings to the massive, if you will, as G.T. Taylor would say. And then we come back to tell you who is my very, very, very special guest co-host this morning inside of the Africa Forum. It is a running African. How you doing, my sister?
I'm doing so well. Thank you so much, Kabu, for having me back. It's been a while. I wonder if people have recognized my voice by now.
I think some might have, yeah.
Yes,
like
I know
a
there's
handful, maybe 5 people.
There's one lady in Montego Bay who runs a laundry. I'm sure she recognizes my voice.
Yeah.
Yes,
and I know Professor Vereen Shepherd would have recognized your voice immediately.
possibly. Yes.
Yes. I can't guess who else, but I know that there's a Donna
Mattis.
Mattis.
Yes. Good morning, Donna. It's me.
I don't think Jawari would recognize it. He thinks he knows. He probably doesn't. But who that?
Yes, he's probably wondering why I'm not on your Facebook post this morning. Well, Jawari, it's because I'm here.
I didn't even look. Right, but yes, he was first. I think I responded.
Oh, you did?
Yes, he was first. And but we can go through a name those who would recognize.
Right.
Andrew Lumsden would recognize.
Probably. Hi, Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's up drinking coffee and stuff.
Maybe Denise Isis Miller.
Yeah, but because Isis was at a show last night, I don't think she gets up yet.
She's not up yet.
But she'll probably be up in another 10 minutes or so.
Right.
But if she's up, yes, then, well, there you go. Anyway, many of you I know probably recognized my very, very special guest in studio this morning, and it is none other than my sister friend, Aldith Hunker, who is co-hosting with me this morning. And as I said before, I know, Aldith, that you don't even have a running order, but we're winging it as we go along.
I like it that way.
Yeah.
But you must be advised, I still have no proper internet, so I'm a little out of touch with news left and right.
Okay, well, there you go. There is one breaking right now as we speak, and I'm not sure what it is. I know you have been trying to find it. Not sure if you found it. But let me tell our listeners that Aldith is she's a radio presenter, television presenter extraordinaire. I mean, #1 in the Netherlands, and this is no joke. She's a moderator, debate leader, as I said before, radio, television presenter, trainer, presenting. And you're doing online training now, because I didn't know that.
I do that, yes.
Okay,
yes,
all right, for radio presenters.
That's right.
Well, there you go. And, of course, a video production specialist. And your films, I met you because you came here to shoot our celebration for Marley Marcus Messiah Garvey many moons ago.
That's right.
So tell us a little bit about your filmmaking.
Well, what I started to do, this was at the beginning of social media, the beginning of YouTube. That's how long ago it is. What I wanted to do is show footage that nobody else was showing. You know, world news from my perspective for a change, because I'm sure you know, Kabu, that in the news business, it's about who decides what will be news today. And I was seeing so much that wasn't being told. So I just started doing it myself. And
you're also changing the narrative in terms of how we describe ourselves
exactly
as
right.
journalists and as disruptors in the space.
Yeah, I wanted more space for disruptors, like yourself.
I know to that. Well, you give me a lot of terms over time, because in the early days you started saying news from our perspective or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh yeah, she's right.
Yes, from a different perspective.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And I said, oh, but she's right. That's basically what it is.
It is.
You know, through our lenses. So more than 30 years of working as a presenter. Quick little background to that. Yeah.
I'm much like yourself. I'm a bit of a rebel. This is what I wanted to do. They always voted me out for the proper education to do it. I don't know why they did that. So I thought I'll just learn it myself.
Yes.
And that's how I did it. I just started on radio and went on to television from there. And you know, everywhere I pick up the ways of doing of making a program, but I always felt that there were stories missing, and I used to be a bit of a hot shot in the Netherlands.
You're still are. You're still are. So I know.
I tried to be the hot shot from the periphery, but being in newsrooms in the Netherlands taught me that, you know, what I was saying about perspective. It's all one perspective that the world hears. And being somebody who's lived in so many countries as a child, and even now, I live in Jamaica and the Netherlands. This is all by choice.
Yeah.
I know that there's different ways of looking at the world, and I was missing that. So that's why I've always been a bit of a rebel.
You are, and you know, thank you so much for being that and for being a sister friend over the many moons. It was Barbara Blake Hannah who called me, if you recall,
I do,
and said, I have a girlfriend, and she's coming from the Netherlands, and she wants to film your Garvey event.
That's right.
And that was that.
That was that. That's right.
Was that. Yeah. Because when Barbara calls and she says, I have a friend, then it's a friend.
Excellent. Good morning, Barbara. I'm sure she's listening.
Well, I hope she's listening. Yeah. It's been a whole lot of water under the bridge, Barbara, but I hope you're listening. My sister friend still.
Yeah.
So you're also founder of Hunk Art. Talk to us about that.
Well, Hunk Art is just my way of doing everything I like to do, and I think that is important to do. It's derived from my last name, Hunkar, so I just put the hyphen in and put a T on the end to confuse everybody, including myself. And with her, it's a one-woman company. So I am the CEO of my own one-woman company.
I love that.
Yeah. You know, because it's about imagery, Kabu.
Yes.
I try to use that Western imagery for our purpose. Why not? Because it worked for them. Why doesn't it work for us? So within Hunk Art, I do all that journalism that you talked about.
Yes.
I'm also there's different areas in which I work, and you can always find me under Hunk Art.
And you do a lot of work still in television. I'm not sure about radio, but I know you do a lot of work in television in the Netherlands still.
Right. Yeah.
A whole lot of work.
Yes, but I did leave the newsrooms. I should not ever return to any newsroom anywhere. Yeah.
I can totally identify with that.
Right.
I'm identifying. So one of the things I like is how you refer to yourself, and we've had this discussion before, as global freestyle multimedia journalism is what you practice.
That's
what
right.
you do.
Yeah.
And it makes freestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's a bit like what you do, you know, because journalism supposedly is subject to all kinds of rules, but you don't follow those rules, and I certainly
I make my
don't.
own.
Yes. And why not? Because, you know, when you're trained as a journalist, you're taught to be neutral. I don't believe there's such a thing as a neutral. I do believe in showing different sides of any kind of news story, but that's not neutrality. You wake up sometimes with a bellyache, or your daughter's sick, or your husband something, or your mother. Every journalist has their own worries and their own perspective on things, and I don't see any reason why that should be left out of reporting.
Totally agree with you on that. As we talk about journalism and reporting, you see how busy things are this morning. We're going to be in just 5 minutes heading back to the Sigma Sagicor run that's happening in Kingston, run for the West. You're just coming in all this, and you're co-hosting. So this is my last question to you, and then we broaden it. But you're co-hosting at a time. And you said before that you live both here in the Netherlands, here in Jamaica and in the Netherlands, and so that you would have been impacted by Hurricane Melissa.
Yes.
What is your situation? Because you're down there
I'm in Montego Bay. I really am one of the lucky ones, Kabu. I have to say, I had some damage on my house, like leaks and fallen down trees. But even across my street, people lost their roof, and
Yes.
these are proper houses. There's nothing dingy about them. So, but what I do find, I came back to Jamaica right after the storm, and I feel Jamaica is a changed place. I think the people are vastly changed. I think there's a big trauma that I'm not hearing anybody talk about. And to be honest, your next guest is with us here now, Rosie. We were talking yesterday. The word resilience, if I hear that one more time, I'm going to scream. Because I believe the word resilience, while it says that Jamaican are strong people, and they're the strongest people I know worldwide. But the word resilience, to me, tells us that we have to not complain. Whilst what happened is something that will, reverberate for years to come.
Of course.
And I think that needs to be addressed.
All right. So I'm sure we're going to get there in the discussions this morning. And, it's interesting that you're not living here full time, and you've been away for some time, but you coming into the space, looking at this through somebody who didn't experience a hurricane itself, you are noticing that trauma.
Yes.
That is very, very obvious to you.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, we're feeling that trauma. And I think it's very important to talk about mental health in all of this, but sometimes we throw these words around, mental health, and as you said, resilience and so on, and it's a cop-out, because then we don't really do what we're supposed to do.
Exactly. We're not dealing with what actually happened. What we were dealing in a way with infrastructure and all of that. But the people are hurting. And they have changed. I can feel it.
And then you tax them. And that's why we say taxation without representation is tyranny. Because now Jamaica is using, or the government is using the hurricane to unleash a tax package on the people of Jamaica that is uncaring, unfeeling, tyrannical, and heartless. And I know that you're going to come at me with your tribalism because you're already doing it online, but miss me with that, okay? Miss me with that. As somebody who's been through this, I don't feel that after you pay off JPS or you give JPS such a big loan and you have your public-private partnerships in your back pockets, I don't feel that I am the one who's supposed to pay for and yes, we can all contribute, but not through taxation in the way that you're doing. In the way that we're doing it already, which is helping each other out, looking out for a neighbor, taking care of each other, but not asking so many of us who have lost our jobs, who have lost our livelihoods, who have lost our farms, our houses, our roofs, and the rest of it, to pay a bagload of additional tax and then tell us that we're not paying a tax how much years. Foolishness. Anyway, I'll come back to that. And I know that we're going to get a lot of cussing for it. We've been getting it already, all it. Yeah, I'm getting a lot, because I'm talking about it online, which is to say that taxation without representation is tyranny. And people are missing the point I'm making. That's not even this is a chant that people use on the times of oppression. I never make it up, but so people fail to see representation in that. All they see is that we're talking about the tax package, and so it becomes a tribalist response.
Right, yeah.
But we say taxation without representation, and that is the crux of the matter. Because with the massive salaries that you all gave yourselves the other day, saying that we will see a change in how politicians and members of parliament and so on deal with their communities. As a matter of fact, we're seeing a change for the worse. That's basically how it is. And this is where we talk about representation. Lots happening around us, lots happening across the world. When we talk about geopolitics, we probably need to break it down in terms of the extent to which everything is connected, right? We're having, as the Chinese say, these are interesting times.
Which is an understatement, if you ask me.
I'm paying attention because I'm pretty sure that if we if we're not prepared for this, that we're going to find ourselves on the other side of being enslaved in a totally different way.
Yeah.
And if we can't be prepared as a nation, because I think that we're kind of dragging our feet on this, or even as a region, then we're going to have to individually, I think, do it from the grassroots up.
And that's not going to work, that last bit.
It's not going to work.
Not going to work at all. Yeah.
It's going to have to work for communities.
Yes.
I know, I take the point you're making, though.
It is. I think we should go back to community living. And, you know, for the past, 30, 40 years, we've been pushed into this narrative of the individual is what counts. And look where it got us.
That is true, because then you're talking about individualism. And I think, though, that we're hardly left with a choice now, because this is even worse than 9/11, where you're told globally you're with us or you're against us.
Right?
So where you find yourself. I'm kind of just scanning Marco Rubio's speech. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it.
Well, what I find is what he said last night in Munich.
What was it? Because that missed me.
He's kind of backing down. This is my words, backing down from what J.D. Vance said last year. And this is the whole thing about NATO. How much can Europe still rely on the United States? And, you know, with the Greenland story coming in between, European countries said, you know what? We might as well do it ourselves, because our former ally, the United States, is erratic at the least. So Rubio went there and speeched to the European allies, reassuring them that the United States still has their back. Of course, providing that the European countries kind of comply with a couple of things that the U.S. wants. So it's an appeasing thing that he said.
For the European Union, for the European countries.
That's right, yeah.
And so where does that leave I don't like to use a term, but for sake of this conversation, the global south, where does that leave?
No, nobody talks about the global south.
And this is why
This is the point.
And this is why I'm seeing the outrage online from our people, which is to say, but this is a colonial speech. This is almost similar to what the Manchester United Ratcliffe gave last week when he said immigrants are colonizing the United Kingdom.
Right.
So now we have the response I'm seeing, and I'm not even, because I think, and I know you just looked at it yourself, so we haven't gone deeply into it. So our listeners can probably
fill us in
on this. But I know that some of the people I follow online, like Ayo, is saying, I can't read what Ayo's saying. Ayo's using all kind of expletives. But he's saying that Rubio is giving his I'm going to try and say what he said without using the expletives. It's like he's giving the middle finger to peoples and nations, and that he talks about all men are created equal, but that it's a whole lot of, I can't even read it. Let me move from him. So if I can... No, he's angry.
Well, he has every right to be.
Yeah. It is somebody we follow online.
Right.
And then, okay, so there's another journalist I follow online, and he's saying they're Africans, especially Nigerians. Please read. This U.S. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, addressing their European allies on plans to recolonize you. Before inviting the United States to come to help you to fix your country, read this to understand what the empire really wants from your country. They're not hiding it. Your ancestors can be forgiven because they didn't see it coming. You have yourselves to blame for falling for it at this time.
Well,
it's basically what
we can talk 4 hours about that, because this is NATO, North Atlantic. We were talking earlier, you and I, about going back to community. Mm-hmm. If ever there was a time for our people to unite, I say this is it. This is today, this morning at 7:03. You know, because the way the world is going right now, and it's going at a very alarming pace. We're seeing the objectives. We're seeing what the plans are, and here we are sitting as lame ducks waiting for it to happen. Kabu, when are we going to really get into action?
listen to what we're hearing from the leaders across the region, for example. And we're going to put in, I'm talking the entire Caribbean region,
Yeah.
obviously. And basically, it is they with the exception of Trinidad, because Trinidad has made a decision, right? Whether you like it or you don't like it. And this morning, for example, we're seeing some stories coming out of Trinidad that they're now being given the right to go back and mine oil or whatever it is you mine in Venezuela.
Yeah.
So this is the side that Trinidad is on. So Trinidad and the Dominican Republic find themselves in that space. Haiti, of course, is has been
has no
so
choice.
oppressed that even now, Haiti is without agency.
Yeah.
So we cannot for the minute include Haiti in this conversation in terms of decisive action. Cuba is in a stranglehold, a chokehold, with the only country, and correct me if I'm wrong, that has made any kind of overture to or obvious overture to Cuba, because I'm thinking maybe people are doing things behind the scenes. I'm hoping is Mexico.
Right.
And so I'm saying what we're hearing from the people in the region, from the leaders in the region, from the nations in the region, including Jamaica, and so on. There's nothing that we can be optimistic about, because we're being told that we have to choose a side of the oppressor. That's
exactly. And to be honest, I think I know many Jamaicans who would love for that to happen. So that's the question Jamaica needs to ask itself.
And answer.
And live by, because yet again, I look at stuff from the outside, and I wonder whatever happened to the Jamaica that was the leader of rebellion in this region. May I ask that question and have it answered at some point?
Yeah.
Because to be honest, I think most Jamaicans would at this point would dearly love to become the 52nd, 53rd state. And if so, let it be.
Right.
But, the question needs to be asked and answered.
And exactly, because this is the isness of things, what is it? The extent to which Jamaicans support that perspective by the leadership, and whether it is opposition or government, the thinking is the same.
Right.
Which is to say, we must side with empire, we must side with the oppressor. And even if we are going to participate in our own genocide, we're going to side with it. Because this is interesting. We are indeed participating in our own genocide. Because if Cuba is going through what Cuba is going through, which is really a genocide before our eyes. If Haiti is going through what Haiti is going, which is another genocide in the region, then we sitting on the flank of Haiti and Cuba, and sitting where we are sitting as part of this region, used to be leaders in this region, then we are participating in our own genocide. That's basically what it boils down to. But the point you made, I think, is critical to this whole conversation, which is to say, this is what I think majority of Jamaicans want.
And do you know why it is that they want that? Because
let us bring in our next guest at this minute, or a very special guest at this minute, because maybe, and Rosie's not here to talk about that, but I'm quite sure she wants to jump in here. Rosemary Chung is our sister friend, and she is founder and director of Studio 174. She is a graduate in fine art from Camberwell School of Arts in London. She uses art as a therapy. Rosie, my sister friend, thank you so much for coming into the studio this morning. Long time.
I tell you, it's an honor to be here, especially with my sister on my right-hand side. And this is just a blessing. Thank you so much, Kabu, as always.
Yeah, we're bringing our sisters together.
Thank you.
Because that's what the world needs.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
But Rosie, we've had many discussions over years, and I know where your heart lies in some of these conversations that we're having. So before we go into why you're really here to talk about art as wide as we possibly. So hung cart. Interesting.
See?
Yes. As wide as we possibly can. Just your response to some of what we've said, and especially where we are. I'll just throw out this question. Why is it that Jamaicans appear to be on the side of, sitting this out on the side of the oppressors?
I think mostly it's fear, a grooming period that has gone over generations that is still with us. We have a lot of people in America, you know. A lot of people still feel that it's the most powerful country in the world and the richest country in the world. And they feel that the kind of protection that you can get when you're being called American because of what is going on right now throughout the Caribbean. In fact, the whole globe, we've seen such a change with what America is about. We hear so many different things about, you know, the thing about terrorism. And when we really think about the word terrorism, you know, and we look at as to what it really means. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to wonder what this kind of security system that America is really talking about, you know. Mm-hmm. And for us, we're really in the middle of all this thing where we don't really have any say. We don't have no control of who we are and what we are, you know. This whole idea of progress, I'm not against progress. Mm-hmm. Right, and development as a country and structure and all of these kind of things. Mm-hmm. But we've lost ourselves, you know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the little that we do have is just such a fight to hold on to who we are as a people, you know.
Well, you know something, Rosie, that I heard you said that when you just said it just now and it jumped out at me, which you said years, decades of grooming. And I think that makes so much sense.
Yeah, because even when I talk to my mother's generation, even my mother and some of the stuff that she will still say about Africa, you know, I mean, it's got a lot better on the perspective and the view of Africa, but it's still seen as a place that is not very progressive. And, you know, nobody wants to really connect to that. I mean, there's so much things going on in Africa right now. We don't get the news on Africa.
Maybe we shouldn't, you know, this is my idea.
You know?
Maybe we should just leave it where it is.
Well, we can leave it.
And do the thing, the African thing, without the world knowing.
True.
That's my
idea. I agree with that to a certain extent.
Right.
Right? Because the minute you put out what you're going to do, it gets crushed.
And heads are going to roll.
Exactly.
And that is, and China has set a really good example for that because they just withdrew for decades.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when they came back
with a vengeance.
This is, a superpower.
So let's hush.
But did Napoleon say that when China awakes? When China was sleeping and when it awakes, you know, it's a whole different Sankey go and play. Mm-hmm. You know,
and here we are.
And it's good that we have China doing this as well, you know, right? Mm-hmm. Because they have their own kind of way of doing things. We may not agree with everything, but at least it's a different approach.
It's slightly more fair.
Yes, slightly.
Slightly.
Right?
Yeah.
Also it appears, but it is still colonial.
Yes, it is.
It is still oppressive.
Yes.
And and this is just my own personal view in that, yes, you want to say, for the moment, do what you're doing, China, drive out the oppressors, be on the side of Africa, for example, we see in the Sahel and so on. But then we look at what's happening in Sudan, and we look at what's happening in the DRC. And I mean, we look at what happened in Zimbabwe, and China has been in all of these spaces saying that we do not interfere in the politics of places. But look at Sudan. We watched Sudan be divided into two countries, and today we're
was it China that did that?
Well, China was right in the middle of all of that. Because China was there, you know, from jump start. China has been there. The first massive army, foreign army that went into China to do what it said was peacekeeping in the way that it did was China. And that was in the 1990s, wasn't it? And at the same time they were saying that, you know, we do not interfere, but who was talking? I mean, who are the other people there? And what did they know? And remember, the ousting of Mugabe and all of that happened in Zimbabwe. Remember that, the first place they went was China.
Yeah.
Mananagwa went, or what's his name, went to China.
Yes.
And now we're seeing, he's now saying that they're changing the constitution in Zimbabwe so that he, who's now 83 or thereabouts, can stay on for another 5 to 7 years or something to that effect, which was the same reason they used to get Mugabe out. So I'm not quite sure about China in Africa or even China in Jamaica because we have lost our water sources. And a lot of that we've lost to China.
Yeah.
We've lost our mines and our water sources on the continent of Africa, and a lot of that we've also lost to China.
And I agree with you on that. The difference to me, though, is that this is from my perspective. At least a redeeming little something. China comes in, says, "I want your water," and somebody actually says, "Yes, you can have it." That's the difference to what happened with European colonization. They just came and they took. Nobody said, "I would like your water," and nobody said, "Here is my water."
Right.
That's the difference to me.
I know, and I mark that difference, but I also want to recall what happened with Portia Simpson Miller, because she was the one who went into China and signed this massive deal that has us now locked into what is about to be our water enslavement. Everywhere you look,
Right.
people are saying this is a year of water. They just wrapped up a conference in a world conference somewhere in Europe. I'm
Yes,
not sure
I forget where, yeah.
Yeah, where the theme was water security.
Yeah.
The World Economic Forum has identified this year, 2026, as a year of water. China knows this very well. The war that is now being fought in the Horn of Africa mostly is about water or waterways. The armada that is in the Caribbean is in the Caribbean waters. The ships that are heading to, and that is to block trading routes, and the ships that are heading to Iran and all of that, they're also cutting off waterways.
They are.
And so it is all about water, whether it's
Yes.
fresh or salt water. So I want to recall Portia Simpson Miller, because when we started making a lot of noise, and you know that we were making up a lot of noise about the fact that Jamaica had given the Roaring River to China.
Yeah.
And we called in all the experts to say, if you build in this watershed area, what will be the result of that, environmentally speaking, climate change speaking? This is why I reject the conversations on climate change, because we deliberately do things to cause the problems that we are experiencing.
Absolutely.
True.
Absolutely.
True.
Yeah.
So one Portia, so give her due, because we interviewed every member of Parliament who was involved in that decision over and over and over and over and over again, right? And we stayed on that for almost 10 years, if you recall.
I do.
But Portia Simpson Miller, she said, I think she recognized it at some point. She was convinced, I think is when we had the Water Authority, Mr. Hernandez in, and she tried to give them Spanish Town, some land in St. Catherine, and to reclaim the Roaring River.
Yeah.
But China said no.
No, China wants the best of the best.
They said we went up and we did a whole survey of this space.
Yeah. Right.
And this is the area we want with the waterways.
Exactly.
So even though, and I hear the point you make, my sister Aldith, which is to say that European colonization and enslavement was what it was in terms that they come in and them grab. But China isn't really much different in that if a country like Jamaica or Ghana say, all right, but we want you to share the water, that's not going to happen.
But, a country like Jamaica should never, ever even... This is the land of wood and water. Where's the wood? Where's the water, Kabu? It's no longer Jamaican. And that's the mistake.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with selling your water to China. Selling it bit by bit, the way that Jamaicans are now buying back their water. Every bottled water we buy is not Jamaican anymore. That's my point.
Yes.
I think Jamaica gave away water.
Yes.
Gave away sunshine.
Yes.
Gave away
Land.
Land.
Massive swathes of land, and
Yes.
continue to give away land. And it's interesting because we talk about being independent, and my whole I don't know, I see this as for me it is very simple, that there's no independence without land ownership.
Exactly.
That's very simple to me.
Yes. And
Very simple.
that's worldwide.
True.
Yeah.
My co-host this morning is Aldith Hunker, and she is a freestyle global journalist based in the Netherlands and also part-time in Jamaica. And Rosemary Chung, who is founder and director of Studio 174. She's a graduate of fine art from Camberwell School of Arts in London, and she uses art as therapy. I'm going to throw this segment to you, Aldith, because I know you've got questions for our sister Rosie, because you're also involved in a very, very similar profession in terms of hunk art, which is everything. She is a proper artist, though. Just so that you know.
Yes, I just put it in the name of my company. She is a proper artist. Yeah, right. So, yeah, you want me to take this part?
Yeah, oh yes.
Yes. So Rosie, interestingly, we met in person yesterday on our way from the bus to where our lovely accommodation. Thank you, REFM, for putting us up. It was really
nice.
very nice.
Yes.
So what I would like to know from you, because I know you use art to work through trauma.
Right.
And as I was talking earlier about this Jamaican trauma that
Yes.
everybody's under,
Yes.
how do you see art can take a place in that?
Well, interestingly enough, we've been using a lot of murals in the city of Kingston downtown, and it has, to a certain extent, transformed the space, particularly spaces that were regarded as, volatile, criminals, activity and everything. So just the environment outside of your space itself, right, has made a difference, I believe, with a lot of people that used to live in these communities and some of them that are still there, as well as it has brought a certain amount of interest from other peoples from all over America, other places, and our own Jamaican people.
Are you talking about that area at what is called Water Lake?
The waterfront?
Yeah.
Yes, along the waterfront.
That's you who did that?
I did some of the murals down there.
Really?
She's being very modest about all of it. Just so
Yeah.
you know, I did some of the murals down there. I mean, you have murals all over Jamaica.
Yes, I do.
So, but because they are beautiful.
Yes.
I went there to specific, because I don't like Kingston, but I went specifically to Kingston to see that art.
Yes.
So tell me, what does art do in the space that changes how people feel about their everyday life?
Colors is what it is. We don't do enough in researching colors from our perspective as people. It was always through other, westernized kind of education. But colors for us is vibration. Colors is vibration, just like music.
Yeah.
And what it does for us, it's a language that speaks to more the inner side of self. We have the words that we use that are vibration, and it speaks mostly about external matters, right? But there is also a language within ourselves that is not words, or it's not words in the same sense. It's a different kind of system.
It's for feeling.
It's for feelings.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to really have a language, a universal language that speaks to specific feelings, because we're individual. That individual thing come back again, right, to a certain extent. And because of this, it makes it very difficult sometimes for us to articulate our emotions. Sometimes through how we've grown in our families, it causes us not even to see that side of self. And most of the time, because society really does have you thinking more about outside of yourself, the external movement and how a society functions, you never really get that time to really study self, understand self, understand that intuitions are real. It's not just a thing, And so what happens is that we lose that instinct to connect to certain things, whether it's vibration through color, whether it's the environment, whether it's the weather, or even in the plant life that is near us.
Yeah. So is this teaching us, the art that you put up, does that teach us to feel that again? Because history has taken that away from
what
us.
it does, it gets you to look.
Yeah.
And once you look, you get a little time in your mind very quickly, no matter how long it takes. It could be a short moment, a second, it could be an hour. But it gets you for that little time to go within. You may not understand this journey right away, you know, because you've not visited a long time. But when you look at something, color, a design, something that speaks to you about your environment or yourself, an abstraction, a person's face, for that moment you are quiet because you're observing. If we could hold on to what we are seeing and feeling without no words, we get a chance to get back in contact with our inner being, our inner self. So people call it spiritual, but I think it goes way beyond just a spiritual thing. It's who we are as people.
But you know as well as I do, Rosie, that's exactly what the powers that be don't want us to do.
Exactly.
All right.
So
So art is rebellion right now.
it is rebellion. I am rebellious.
I can tell.
Right, with my art making.
Yeah.
It's going down into the inner city as a single woman, you know, a parent of one child, right? I was told, many people were saying that I was mad. How could you want to do a thing like that?
Oh, people tell me that every day.
This was before Digicel was even down there as a building.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of empty spaces, derelict situations.
Derelict, that's the word.
Yes.
And I believe that the derelictness of how it was also plays a role in how the people feel.
Exactly.
And by putting up your murals, that changes.
Just being in a space in a building, because I was in a warehouse, right, where I transformed into a gallery space, right, which people didn't recognize that you can do this with art. You can imagine things and you can create things and you can manifest it into the open. And this was some of the magic that I saw in the art making that I thought that I could share with particularly the inner city youths, who at this time...
How did they respond?
Oh, they loved it because you know what?
Hold that point. Well, just so that you know, we are in Westmoreland next week, Sunday. We are in Westmoreland. Your microphone is on, you know, so you can all loudly say yes.
Yes, we are in Westmoreland, definitely.
Right, but we have an overnight for Saturday night. You don't know that, dog.
All right. Nice.
In a lovely, luxurious accommodation.
You know, I can just imagine Donna Mattis and Isis and all our sister friends, Natisia and all of them. I said, but I do not understand those conversations on the radio. Well, listen, we're all in Westmoreland, right?
Right.
Next week, Sunday, inshallah, we're going to go down from Saturday, and we're there at the Peter Tosh Memorial Gardens. If you want to come hang out with us Saturday night, okay, don't know it go. And then Sunday morning, we're back there early. And part of this also is in the wake of Hurricane Melissa to bring the community together. So we're saying to the community, come in with the wares. Whatever you have for sale, carry it, come. And then we're saying to the rest of Jamaica, let us go down to Westmoreland to buy, because the people are ready to get back on their feet. And you go back to the word we're talking about, resilient. What we mean when we say people are resilient, because if you throw that word at people, then what are you responsible for? People are responsible for themselves mainly, and they want that level of independence. So we're going to go with independence. And so this is what the people of Westmoreland are asking for, that now that we're taking it to this level, we still have wares to sell, and you can help us to get that done outside of what government is doing. If you come into Peter Tosh Memorial Gardens, we're going to have all the stalls. And remember, Tuna said down there, so they're right down at the bottom from there says right which part. My mouth start run water already. I mean, not to eat the meat, you know, but anyway, but it is what it is. So come down on Sunday, and if you want to come in from Saturday, it is quite fine. So, but we're going to be there, and we're talking to Dave Tosh in the 9 o'clock hour this morning. But let me just return to you, Aldith, talking with our sister Rosie about color. I know you were asking her about art therapy and
how it works.
And how it works and how it impacts especially youth.
Yes, the youth,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah, let us go on from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yes, as I say, color is vibration, and I also include music in the works that I do with the youths, and instrumental, no words, because it's
Music is color for the ears.
yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So it gives them a little chance to really get back into being brave about some of their thinking, their expression.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times, because of how we've been groomed, education, we shut down certain things about ourselves.
Yeah.
And we
I
become...
believe a whole generation
Yes.
grew up not knowing there's more than what they are being served.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even as females, if you notice, because when I was in the Department of Psychiatry, when I was doing art therapy on Ward 21, I realized that a lot of the medicines that we have come to know was really about men. It wasn't really not enough information about females.
That too is a worldwide problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? And so it was important that when I did finally go to the inner city to work with the youths, that I could get the boys them to express themselves on that emotional side.
Good morning.
And as you hear both Rosie and Alded saying good morning, is because our next very special guest has arrived in the studio. David Wilson is joining us in studio, and you'll hear, well, he's no stranger to this space, and you'll hear more from him. He, of course, is the founder, director of the Rio Nuevo Village. A whole lot there to unpack. And also someone who's been all his life a caveat.
Yes,
We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it right for David.
Yes,
in a little while.
David needs a headphone so he can hear you.
Yes, so we'll get it right for him
Yes.
in a minute. All right. So in the meantime, let's just wrap this segment, which is to say, color is therapy,
Yes.
right? Art is therapy. And one of the things I heard you say that I wanted to kind of pick up on was when you talk about the importance of color itself, the significance of color, because I thought immediately of how we respond to green and orange in Jamaica, like Pavlov dogs.
Yeah.
And so that tells us something.
Exactly.
From your own perspective, what is that saying to us? I mean, how did we get to that space that color affects us as a nation? It doesn't affect me that way, but generally speaking, as a nation, that you see a color and it immediately triggers in you something, whether violent or loyal or patriotic. I'm not even sure if it's patriotic.
I
I don't know what
have
it
yet
is
to
now.
explore that, because being an artist myself, I have never, ever entertained color in that way. So it was, for me, it was quite puzzling that we could, because both colors, green was always associated to peace and environment and money.
The color of hope.
And color of hope. And orange was always the sunsets, the Buddhists love orange because it's a healing color for them. Orange was always a color that spoke to a more human thing to it than the green, which was always more external. I'm not really sure, Prabhu, how politics have gotten these colors to now become a weapon. I remember doing a project. I won't say what project, but I was doing a mural. And I put a bit of orange on some words. And I never realized, I guess you would know now what I'm talking about. I didn't realize that would have caused so much horror and disgust, because the project that I was working on and I used a bit of orange, that it was a no. I was totally flabbergasted. Yeah. Because from my perspective, it was beautification, bringing in that energy, because I'm talking about colors as vibration. Didn't realize that people would have had that kind of reaction.
It is what it is, and this is what
Yeah,
we
it is what it is.
experience.
But I'm so glad that you mentioned this because it may be something that I need to research and go back. I'm sure it's grooming again.
Right.
But as you said, how we got there. But I guess if, even with the flag and the color of our color of our flag, it symbolizes certain
Stadium,
things.
yeah.
And many flags does that too.
That's right. You
know?
and so there's a whole thesis to unpack from just how colors impact you as an individual on so many different levels. When we were going to, I went to St. Mary High School, and they were just bringing the two shifts together, right? So it was morning shift and evening shift. The evening shift wore yellow, that, you know, it wasn't even orange, it was yellow, but it was seen in people's mind. When people look at it, they saw orange, and the morning shift wore green. And I remember doing one of the elections in the 80s. It's the same year they had the International Youth Conference, because I had to go. And I remember that we couldn't wear our uniforms. I couldn't wear my uniform to the International Youth Conference. I borrow my sister frock them. And yes, I did go. Because my uniform was green. And this is I think we have moved in a negative way on this trajectory, which is to say that it has gotten worse since the 1980s when that started. And this is, for me, that's when it started. Right, in high school. So that color impacts us in the way it does. What about driving and the color car you drive? Because people in a red car seem to drive faster to me. Anytime David, you don't have a red car, do you?
Do you, David?
But they say red is a color of energy,
And aggression.
Yeah, and aggression and a lot of things about red. But it's powerful. This is why it's used at a traffic light stop, because it's powerful. And anywhere you see red in the distance,
well, seeing red,
we see red. But it's also to do with our blood too. There's so much about the color of red. In China, for instance, them love red. The brides wear red. There's something about the color of red that is also passionate. It goes back to religion as well.
Yes.
So
it's symbolism of colors. And this is why symbolism is so important, because we're told that it's not important as African people generally, but it is very important in...
Absolutely. Can you imagine a world without color? Can you imagine a world without color?
No, I can't.
What were you just telling me about little children? You showed them black and white art.
Yes, we've made some little movies as well, right? And I started by showing them some classics where it was black and white movies. And when they saw it, they said, "Miss, what is that? What is that you're showing me?
Where's the color?
Where's the color?"
Yeah,
but they enjoyed it though, because it was a whole learning thing going on. It was fascinating to see black and white because, in my generation, we never had color in the beginning. It was black and white. And it's better for your eyes, as a matter of fact, when color came in, it did things to our eyes, technology-wise, right?
But this is a fascinating conversation that we really do need to continue. All right,
yes,
I'm going to give you the last word on this.
Yes, because you were telling us about your uniform. You couldn't wear it at a certain day. That too is exaggerating stuff. Do you agree with me? I mean, the color green was there before any political party was. So,
it's worse now than then.
It is,
because people are now being killed, and
over color.
Over color. I mean, you can't be seen in a particular area in a particular color.
Yeah,
you are immediately
framed,
or you can be killed. Here's the thing. There's another thing that I noticed with color, right? That even within Parliament, Damien Crawford wore a green tie when he walked off, when the announcement was made that he was no longer on the PAC. And that became a whole thing on
can
the social
imagine.
media spaces, on mainstream media, in those conversations. And there was a headline that said that he was thinking of crossing the floor. So you had those conversations going on all because he had on a green tie. So we make decisions and we interact with each other on the basis of a color that we see them wearing. That is a shame.
Yeah.
That's a
You know,
shame.
once upon a time, way back in, ancient days in Ghana, color and symbols are, I go back to the Adinkra symbols because I discovered the Adinkra symbols, many years ago and what they meant. But before I even know your name and what you were wearing with the color and the Adinkra symbols, I knew who you are. I know that the language of color and symbolism spoke to me before I even know you as a person. So it's as if they took some of that, because they take a lot of what we know back from way back and they change it. The West changes things.
Yeah,
It
because
becomes something.
if color emanate from people too. So you see people and you can see colors
like the aura.
around them, like,
Yes,
like
their
the
aura,
aura.
exactly.
Right?
They change everything. They flip everything to suit, what kind of platform that they're about.
Yeah.
So color was always important. It had to be.
We're going to have this conversation again, right? This is something that we have to revisit. I think it is critical. It's very important for us to have that. And art as therapy, especially now, I'm not quite sure the work you're doing now, Rosie, with children. And I know you've started something with others regarding the hurricane survivors.
Yeah. I was invited to go to a place in Hanover, to a school where there were many children. Most of it was children, but senior citizens and mothers, mostly mothers and children, hardly any male presence away from the soldiers. And what happened, something switched up and I ended up speaking to soldiers instead, which I have to tell people that we have some amazing soldiers out there, all very young. And you need to speak with them. They're people picnic too as well, as I would say.
Yeah.
And some of the concerns that they have is just like everybody else. But then again, it's color again because of the uniform. They're in this uniform that represents.
Everything and that's the thing, representation or representation.
Yes.
Because some things are represented to ourselves, like the thing that they call the swastika, which is an Adinkra symbol.
Exactly.
Which, when we look at it now, we don't see through African eyes. We see it as something diabolic and Nazi and all of that, which is a symbol that was stolen from us.
When I do murals, I always put the Adinkra symbols in there, The Sabina Park mural, all of the players behind them have Adinkra
And that's your
symbols.
work at Sabina Park. Yeah.
With a team of young people that I selected from Edna Manley. They had already graduates from Edna Manley. Always creating works for the younger people to continue their work after the graduation thing.
Wonderful stuff.
And I introduced them to the Adinkra symbols. They didn't even know it existed.
See?
And each symbol is positive,
It's power. It's powerful, and it's taken away from us, and we want it back. Give it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me back my things, as Muta said. All right, so let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be hearing from and speaking with our next very special guest in studio with us, David Wilson. Let's take a break. All right, 9 minutes going up to 8 o'clock. We're still going to be going back to the Sagicor Sigma Run, which is happening in Kingston. My very special guest in studio, Rosemary Chung. David Wilson is going to be joining us on the phone lines now. And my co-host, of course, is Aldith Hunker from the Netherlands to Jamaica by way of Suriname. But Aldith, you were actually born in Suriname.
I was born in Suriname, that's right. Yes.
So you're claiming Suriname. You don't even bother claiming Netherlands, even though you've lived there forever.
No, I just, I take the privileges of being of a Dutch passport. I hope they don't hear me. No. I'm exaggerating a bit here, but I was very young when I left Suriname, so.
All right, we're going to come back to that. David, welcome once again to the studios. No stranger to this space. We met, and I'll just give a background for my co-host and our listeners, so many years ago. And our first conversation centered around Black Success and Molimu Marcus Messiah Garvey. And that has been the foundation of our interactions and relationship over the years, and many, many years, in terms of how do we move it from just talk, how we move the idea into, or the concept into action. This has been your, almost like a singular perspective, journey, and you're acting it out. So thank you so much for that, David. I'll tell our listeners a little bit about this, because David is a founder, director, proprietor at Rio Nuevo Village. To understand what we're talking about and to put this into context is to talk a little bit about Rio Nuevo Village, what that space is, what it means, and what it represents.
First, I must say good morning to everyone on the outside listening. Good morning to our guests here. And it's a pleasure, of course, once again, to be on, IRFM and this platform. I give thanks for, to seeing me worthy, of being here. You know that I don't take it lightly, being on such a platform.
Thank you for that, David.
So a little bit about Rio Nuevo Village. It's a special place to me, and it encompasses of a lot of Jamaica's early history, something that we so often take for granted. Even this platform, Kabu, that you're on, many persons paid away as we celebrate Black History Month for you to be here on this platform. Also your guests,
yes.
To be a voice, to the world, not just Jamaica. So I don't take that for granted. So back to Rio Nuevo Village, encompass a lot of history, going back as far as 650 AD, or Taino era, and the early occupiers,
the Austinoids. I know. I always have to. And thanks to the research from those who did such brilliant research from UE and so on, that takes it all the way back to the Austinoids, even before the Taino. That's some crazy history there.
And so I have developed it as an attraction to the world, not just Jamaica. As I speak, we have a guest that's coming in today from ship. So as I leave here, I'll be going there to do a tour, a museum tour.
And the museum you talk about is the Taino Museum, which you over time you've broadened, but I know that the foundation and center of that was. And how important was it for you to have made it first of all a Taino Museum?
Well, I think that I was listening to your conversations earlier, and in regarding color and things that we're taught, and everything that exists derives from a thought, and it's so powerful to understand, your thought and who you are, and sometimes we get misinformed, the information that's platform to us, but we embrace it, and sometimes we become it, not knowing that it's untruth. As you spoke about color earlier, and so it's very important for us to understand where things derive from, and
so redefining ourselves, and the importance of origin. This is what is happening at Rio Nuevo Village. And as you mentioned earlier, the history of Jamaica. Rio Nuevo Village tells the history of Jamaica, right? Because this is where every single representation of what Jamaica has become over time have been here, from the very first until. And this is, I wanted to kind of use this as a platform to move into the idea of thought and success, which is to say that Rio Nuevo Village was also moving from the Ostionoids to the Taínos, the Spaniards, and then that big war between the Spaniards and the English, and then slavery and the plantation, and up to today has all of that history remaining there, including what would have been a great house. But you reclaimed this history and all of that history for success. And this is where I want to platform it from, David, to say that journey, what can we learn from that? Those of us who talk about Molimu, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, who talk about being the best that we can beat, who every Black History Month, we're talking about the founders and the disruptors and the developers and those who created wealth. How do we move from just a celebration of people into being ourselves success stories?
I think the first thing to that is really acknowledging those prior to us. And do we become it? Do we become... the way I look at celebration is becoming that which is platform. How do you utilize the platform? Like your position here. How do you utilize it? How is it being utilized? You're journalists. How do you utilize that? Are you biased? Are you affected by influence? Or, are you celebrating those that made the sacrifice for you? And to me, that's what it means. Celebration. Marcus Garvey. Do you celebrate Marcus Garvey by utilizing the platform that he left for us to use? Those that paved the way, those that our great grands that were enslaved. Okay, so now we have the opportunity to experience knowledge, to read, to go to school. Are we celebrating it by utilizing it? And I think that's key.
One of the things that David always said to me, Aldith and Rosie, and it connects, that whenever you get, because we talk a lot, and then whenever you get to a space of despair, because we do sometimes get to places of despair, you say, but our ancestors didn't die for this. So what is your responsibility in the space now? And I think we have to keep remembering that, or remembering it, if you will, in how do we build upon that which our ancestors, the work they've done, what they've left, but also to identify what is our responsibility in the space to build upon that positively.
Exactly. And that's important. We take so much for granted, and think it's about us, it's about me, and no, someone sacrificed so you could have this space, or you utilizing it the right way, or you taking it for granted. That's important.
And I think that is such an important question to just throw out to the nation right now. Aldith, I see the look on your face like, yes.
Because what David says, it goes back to what Rosie was saying earlier. This is it's this programming that we all went through that makes us look at things in a certain way and losing the way we originally used to look at things. So that's what we need to reclaim. And then we can choose, because we are also a product of these times. But if we leave out one part, then it's always going to be that part that we are programmed into. And I keep saying, I used to call it beat Babylon at its own game. You can sue me for that. But what we know how let's call it Babylon, how it works. Let's use it to our advantage, taking aboard the stuff that is gone from our memory. That's what I wish we could do. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
I think yes. Of course. And this is interesting because this is one of the reasons why I mentioned the Great House before.
Yeah.
Because here you have a property that, as David always says, we couldn't go there.
Right.
You see, she's scratching her head. It's because I've missed the time signal. I missed the break. Let me take a quick break. David, I know you do have to go, right? But can you stay 15 minutes at least? All right, let me take a break.
You get shot? Not take that. Make Mocha FIB and the police help you. Call 311 or 1-888-662-2847. The time by the FID, Mocha and the JCF is...
Now, 2 minutes after 8 o'clock, just reminding you that next week, Sunday, we will be in Westmoreland at Peter Tosh Memorial Gardens, Bluefields in Westmoreland, commemorating the 50th anniversary of Legalize It, featuring an outside broadcast with the Africa Forum. We're there from Saturday night, and Mutabaruka will be juggling. It's an all-day event. It's from 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. We're reaching out to the community, and we're saying, come in to the sellers and come in to the buyers as we help to rebuild Westmoreland. So look out for us there. David, the importance for you, and I know you have talked about this many times, which is, here's a space that we were not allowed to go to, but a space that has been reclaimed by an African Jamaican, a black man, yourself. I know you don't want me to stress that too much in terms of your own involvement in this, but this is what you did, and you did it. There must have been a thinking, and that is going to take us back to thought.
Okay. I'm gonna speak a little bit about the thought process, right? Because everything that exists derives from a thought. Everything that we do derives from a thought. We just don't happen to be doing something. And being in that space stimulated for me certain thoughts that where the place is now, it really actually derives from that. That whole process of what exists there now. And at times we focus so much on the, like you guys were speaking about colors earlier, the scene.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the scene, what we see.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we tend to limit ourselves based on the perception that's gathered from that. I don't know if what I'm saying
yes, and this is basically the point, and this is why we can look at a color that means so much, which if you break it down, it becomes so many other things, and to kill each other just for being in what we see.
Yes.
You know, with the natural eyes, if you will.
Yes, and so, I mean, for me, again, like I said, it was a platform for me to honor those who came before me and not take it for granted. And I've been so blessed to you know, to see where it is now and the possibility, and to provide jobs for you know, the
members of the community, if you will.
Guys that you know, sometimes, you know, I had a situation there, you're aware of it, that you know, that certain people weren't seen worthy or because of where they live and because of certain things. And I rejected that because I think everyone deserves an opportunity.
But it's kind of brave
no matter
of
where
you
you're
to go
from.
there. Mm-hmm. I think it's brave. That
And it's sometimes even us, we're I think we are to be held responsible also for, you know, how we look at persons because of where they're from. Not just the skin, but because of where they're from, right? So we're embracing the past. We're embracing the past.
And that becomes that thing that holds us in arrested development, if you will, this idea of classism, because beyond racism in Jamaica, we don't talk a lot about classism, but classism is more insidious than anything else on this island. And this is what, it's a calcification, if you will, in terms of how we can move as a people. You know, we participate in our own oppression of each other. How do you move away from that? I think that goes back to the point when you... So how important is knowing, you talked before, knowing the origin, as you said earlier, knowing where things derived from? How important is that to move us on to the next level?
Well, I think it lends to appreciation, and it lends to honoring. It lends to not taking for granted. You know, those are the things that you know, we take for granted because we get comfortable, because you're not being oppressed. You're right. So now you start taking it for granted. There's no urgency then. It's not important. And so we focus more on self.
But we're losing that, and all this talk about that, you know, vacuum that will be filled by something else. We're losing that along the way, and so there are a whole lot of things that are not in unison, if you will, to bring us to this place that we are of self-hate and of oppression of each other, classism, and all of that. We just say, what about parenting, schooling, education, the space that is a community? We seem to have lost a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
Process.
So, you know, perception is still important. It's still important. And thoughts is still the center of
So by
our being.
perception, David, do you mean how we look at it? Because we can look at it that way, or we can see it another way. Is that what you're saying? Is that
Yes. Yes.
So what does it take to change that? Because that's probably what you're asking for, Kabu. What does it take to change that self, the way of looking at self?
Well, changing the way one looks at self is to it's important to establish what's truth and what's untruth. That's the center, because there's so much untruth out there, and the platform has been set for that.
especially
You know,
now?
I'll use a simple example. You go online and you pull up something, and you embrace it as true, but then you realize that it wasn't. It's fabricated.
And I think we have to create these safe spaces for you to feel comfortable to go to that place.
I know you're a little bit off mic, Rosie, but we're hearing you, right?
Yes,
Which is
I'm
to say that we have to create the
Safe spaces.
safe
Safe
spaces.
spaces, you know, whatever kind of building that may be, you know, because we normally think of safe spaces in that kind of setting, but why can it not be in a gallery? Why can it not be, you know, outside of the church somewhere?
In a museum.
In
In a museum, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Why can it not be in there?
Yes.
A museum hosts a lot of history of the past most of the time. It deals with perception and thoughts. We get an opportunity to speak about things we don't normally speak about, because it gets you to go back inside in a certain way. Right?
To have that conversation, to remember it then, that
Exactly.
process of remembering.
Exactly.
Yeah, David, I see that resonated with you.
Is that what you're after with your museum?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, everything that exists derives from a thought.
Yeah.
Right? It just don't happen to be there. And so it's important for us to, you know, check our thought and make sure that where it derives from is from a place of truth.
Yes, but if we don't know that we don't know, who's going to tell us that we don't know so we can then start knowing?
You know how we get to know eventually is when we see the destruction of ourselves that we can't stop.
Yes, but we're seeing destruction of ourselves, and it is not stopping
because we
right
don't
now,
see it as
Rosie.
No, but we don't see it as destruction anymore. That's the thing.
And that's the point
It's
I'm trying to
marketing-
make.
it's
We don't
marketing
know
in a
that we
certain
don't
way.
know, so we need to learn that we don't know so we can start knowing.
We have to go back to the past. We have to go back to the times when the healing was done, the way of our people, the way of our... So it comes back to thoughts and perception again. There's a knowingness inside of us, you know,
Yeah.
that has been turned off.
So,
And there's things to activate it, you know. The therapies, the movies that we see, the language that we speak.
The
food
museum that
the
they-
museum, the food that we eat. the conversations that we're having. We stop talk to one another, you know. We talk at
There you go. We
our one
at,
another. We
yes.
don't talk to our one another, you know.
Right.
It's a different kind of communication going on here.
So there needs to be an awakening, but everything that you just talked about, if they remain the way they are now, which is to say the food that we eat, the conversations we're having, and all of that, and what we're experiencing, the places we're putting ourselves to experience, whatever we're experiencing, is that the end result of that is that we remain locked in this place and of not knowing and being what we are becoming, which is other than ourselves. So I think I hear the point that Aldith is making is for those who do not know, and I think Aldith, in a way, Kwame Ture answers that, because he says the job of the conscious is to make the unconscious conscious.
Yeah.
But that is going to takes a lot of patience, and no ego, and no judgment of where people are on their journey. I'm thinking,
Yes.
you know,
But we need to start somewhere.
right? So the job of the conscious. So this is what we're doing with this discussion.
Exactly.
No, you see how much time David give me goosebumps since he started talking. Because this is right. I can literally hear Jamaica listening, you know. And I'm hearing Jamaica listening, and this is. You feel it?
I do.
Right.
I do, but you know,
So this
once
is-
we feel, we need to share. So somebody else
Right.
can feel as well.
That's right, yeah. And you talk about vibrations earlier when you're talking about color, and that takes us energy, frequency, vibration, which is what I tweeted this morning before I came in, not even knowing we were going in this direction.
There you go.
So this is FM, frequency modulation. That's what FM means in radio. When we say IRE FM, frequency modulation, everything is on a frequency. If you turn off, if you're listening to us now and you turn off, we don't stop broadcasting. We're still broadcasting, but you could turn off and turn on to something else. It means that you're then locked into that frequency. But if you remain here, you're on the frequency that we're on. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Okay, Kabu. So,
darling.
in order for a paradigm shift to happen, it derives from information, and that's why history is so important for us to, have a change of thought. It requires information, and past information is also important for us to understand.
And that's why earlier when you talked about
Yes, it's
knowing the
important.
truth,
Yeah.
and that there's so much out there that is, I mean, you tap into this, but it is not truth.
Yes.
And at what point? I have been reading through the Epstein files. Right?
Oh.
I'm reading through them.
Yeah.
Like I'm just reading through them.
And you're still here in with sanity of mind?
I just like to say that I am not suicidal,
Good. I'm glad.
and I have no intention of drowning myself in any river nearby. Matter of fact, I don't have no rivers which are at my house there, but I have rivers that run down at the bottom there. I mean, when I go to that, when I go to that river, it's Freedom River. I'm saying this because I'm getting so many threats, right? Because I've been looking at the files and I've been talking about the files, and
Are you
but-
getting threats?
oh yes, I mean serious threats. But here's the thing. I mentioned this to say that there's so much that we held as truth. But when we go deep in this space, which is not just about pedophilia, this cannot be a discussion about pedophilia. It has to be a discussion about trade wars, economic wars, scientific wars.
That's it.
I mean, academia, control, food war, water war. This is what this is all about. It's about control of the new world order. And when you read through this, you see this is what they're all planning. And it's not one man.
No.
It is all the people that we look up to, all the people who are in the spaces telling us, this is how you must go, and this is what you must do. They're all in there eating babies, cooking the skins of children, and eating them, sexually attacking babies, and we could go really vulgar with it, and we don't need to. There is that Satanism, this whole satanic space. But what it opens your eyes to, and I think this is why we need to read through them, is that we're existing simultaneously in a space that is occupied by people who are satanic and performing satanic rituals. So that is clear. But that they have a plan to control the next world order, and they're all there.
They're all there.
All the people that we look up to,
Yeah.
all of them are there, and they're making the worst kinds of statements that anybody, Noam Chomsky.
Yes.
I mean, we studied Chomsky. We don't expect to find Chomsky in a space like that saying the things he's saying.
Right.
There's a man who who sponsors or who Jamaica is in talk with right now for tourism between Jamaica and the United Arab Emirates, who sent a torture video to Epstein, who writes back to say, I enjoy the torture video. You understand the points I'm making? Yeah. There's a man in Jamaica. There are many. We have the flight logs of Jeffrey Epstein, who has come into Jamaica so often. We have the names of hotels and all of that. No, and I'm saying this to say that the truths that we hold on to, that come to us through academia, and come to us through science, and come to us through politics, those truths are curated and planned in these spaces. And this is what is, and so when David said sometimes you go online and you recognize, and you go down a hole and you're following this truth, only to realize that it's not the truth. This is what is being exposed now.
That's right. And the whole pedophilia is just the cover-up.
It's just
the hobby that they share.
And as wicked as it is,
check your producer.
As wicked as it is, it is not.
It's not the issue.
It's not the issue.
Right.
It is
and
about,
that's the scary part of these files. Yeah.
It is very, very scary. And so I won't be talking about it much anymore.
Right.
Okay.
Right. But it's available.
Can you share with the world where it is available, Kabu?
All right. So if you go, if you type in DOJ, Department of Justice,
you're going to find
Google,
it there. Yes.
So you go to Google, you go DOJ. The DOJ website will come up. You can click on the DOJ website, or you can just go down, because Google is going to give you, when it's a company, it's going to give you the website, what is in there, the library, et cetera, et cetera. It says Epstein Library.
Okay.
So you click on Epstein Library. It takes you right to the library. Then it says, are you 18? Are you a robot? Because the robot is now asking if you are a robot. Right? This is what is happening. So the robot is saying, are you a robot? So you click, you say, no, you're not a robot. So you click on that. And then it says, are you 18 and over? So you click yes, 18 and over. When you go there, it has a search bar. Any name that comes to your head, type it in.
I'm sure you have.
9.5 chances out of 10 you're going to see that name jump up. And when it jumps up, you have to be patient to read all the files that come up with that name.
Okay. So that's a lifetime of research that
it's a lifetime of research. But even if you do it, if Jamaica does this on the surface, we would begin to ask, where did our children go?
Yeah.
We begin to ask, who gave you permission? We'd begin to ask, where were our principals? We'll begin to ask, how do the parents collect money for that? We'll begin to ask, do the athletes know that their DNA was being collected? Do they know that their biological data was being collected? Do the elite athletes in Jamaica know that every time they met with a scientist, that Jeffrey Epstein was told about it? And why? Let me take a break. We have just about 3 minutes left in this segment, and thank you, David, for bringing the point of truth into the midst, because I think it was critical for us to bring that in, because we're living in what they call a post-truth age, and everybody is claiming their own truth. So what is truth now is what anybody says it is, and this is, I think, critical for us to know in terms of when we are doing that paradigm shift or finding ourselves. But so I'm giving you a few. Well, do you have a question? Did you have a
No,
question?
no, go.
I'm giving you the last 2 minutes, David, just to wrap this segment. And I do know that you have to go, but just also I want to talk a little bit about what is now, because we talk about the museum, we talk about what you have been doing with the space, but there's so much there now that at Reno. I'm telling you, every time I go to Reno Village, there's something new, and maybe that's why you're laughing, because I'm going to stop by today. Is there something new going to be there? I'm just asking. See. Quite possible. Yes, Jim.
He's nodding. He's nodding.
No, and then he's not lying.
Yes, Kabu. Yes, there's so much going on, like you said. We have now installed zip lines. We do ATVs. We do horseback riding. And
I love the horseback.
Yeah, horseback riding. Yeah, so it's becoming a one-stop shop, you know.
Yeah.
I feel honored though to be a part of it. It said Mary, you know. I really feel honored for that.
Where the river meets the sea.
Yes.
Let's not forget that.
Yes.
That's a sacred space all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was built around history.
Yeah.
But now we're expanding in other areas to facilitate our guests that visit Jamaica, you know?
Yeah.
And not just for those that visit, but also for those that are here. You know,
Right.
Let's start there.
we accommodate our local market, so it's not out of reach then. So
that families who are listening can come by. Take, you're looking for somewhere to take your children. You're looking for somewhere to go with your families. This is a nice place to go and just enjoy so much.
yes.
And do you then lure them to the museum? Because zip line is fine, you know, and what else did you say? It's online, nice and good
Yes,
activities.
horseback riding.
Horseback riding, let's not forget that.
ATVs.
Yeah.
And yes, so and you we have a restaurant on
Do not forget that.
and property also, so you could eat. And it's 30 acres. Maybe you just want to hang out, just walk around.
Exactly.
Let me just say to the chef that I'm coming by shortly. I can do with the rondong thing. I don't know if you have rondong on the menu today.
Okay, I don't know.
I'm not going to pressure you though. If you don't have
All
rondong,
right,
you don't
Kabu.
have
I'm sure the chef is probably listening, right?
well, there you go.
Maybe look out for rundown for Kabu.
Yes, I'm coming by shortly.
okay.
And remember my coffee. But
Yes,
David, I want to thank you
Oh,
so much.
I forgot. And these guys will probably string me up.
Yeah.
We do bamboo. We do rafting also. How could I forget that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. So all of the guys that raft, okay? So yeah, we do rafting also.
Right.
All right.
Greetings to everyone
Yes.
on Renova Village. David, we'll talk to you again very, very soon. I do know you have to go. You have guests coming in today. But I'm going to stop by. I'm going to swing by.
Yes, and thanks again for having me. Sitting here between both your guests.
Yeah.
And just remember, you know, thoughts is important, man. You know, and we become manifestation of our thoughts. And it's all up to our choice also, no? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, what you choose.
And I think it's a brilliant place to leave that. We become the manifestation of our thoughts. Think on these things. All right. You're inside of the Africa Forum. It is Running Africa, and we're going on till 10 o'clock. That's when the Big A comes in with the Sunday Sunshine. Thank you so much for joining us on the 107s. You must know the call signals by now. 107.1.
0.3, 0.5, 0.7, and
There you
0.9.
go. And that's why I say all the way to 107.9. And on the internet at irfm.net. You can listen to us free on the internet, by the way. Just go irfm.net, www.irfm.net, and we're free online. We're also free on the Google Play Store. So download the app and you can listen to IRFM free there wherever you are in the world. So tell your friend to tell your friend to tell your friend that you can get us anyway. If you have no radio and no phone and you have a TV and you're connected to Flow or DigiPlay, so Flow is channel 822 and DigiPlay is something.
Something.
You should play something. Leticia, this is your duty, Leticia. Please don't tell me what, because you're listening on Digiplay. So please don't tell me what you're listening on. Is it 684 or 784? Yes. It's one of them.
And might I make a suggestion, Kabu?
Yeah, go ahead.
These shows should all be recorded for people who cannot make it at this time of day, wherever they are on the globe.
They are recorded, let me just say.
But where can we find them?
You should be able to find them in the IRFM archives if you go back to irfm.net. Should be, I say.
Should be.
So, Mr. IT Manager Garfield, please give me a call to let me know if this is up to date. But this is how you can find them. But I know in an age of all the rest of it that we talked about this morning, I do agree with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You should be able, you know, when you go home today, just share the link to your followers online.
True. Yeah. Or just go to your IRFM YouTube and boom, there it is.
There it is.
It should be there.
It should be there.
So there you go. All right, we're just putting that out, and I've just got a text from K. Ezekiel. Good morning, my brother. And he said, I think you just found the person. This is what he's telling me by text. You just found the person to do the IRFM story.
Right.
That's you.
Oh, this one. Oh, me.
No, he's saying that we found the filmmaker.
Oh,
which is you. That's what he
Kabu,
said.
do you remember I once sent you a proposal and you told me the time wasn't right?
That's right.
Maybe the time is right now.
That's right. That's a very good point. We must have a talk with Barbara Blake Hannah.
Barbara, my dear friend, please help us out with this.
Yeah. But that's basically lots of stuff happening because we're in Black History Month and we're in Reggae Month. Let me just so Big A is not. Where's Big A? Where's Big A? She says Big A is not coming in today. It's he's on the road. He's probably running under Sigma.
Right, Sigma.
All right, so the Department of Sociology, Psychology, and the Deputy Principal's Office at the University of the West Indies Mona campus present Professor Malife Kete Asante, distinguished Afrocentric paradigm philosopher and the Black Studies specialist, speaking on the transformative power of Black history. And that will be on Thursday, February 26th, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. right here in Jamaica, the multifunctional room near the main library at the University of the West Indies Mona campus. So that's a big deal. Malife Asante coming into Jamaica, and he'll be speaking on Thursday, February 26th, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., the transformative power of Black history. And that's going to be at UWI, the multifunctional room near the main library. That's Mona campus. That's a big deal.
Yes, it is. Yes, yeah.
You got something there?
Yes, I got something. Let's. You had it. You were talking about the 26th. Let's move forward in time. February 19th, Martyrs' Day celebration, a Rastafari tribute to the ancestors. That will be in my hometown, Montego Bay, at the Root House Rastafari HQ. And libation will be poured, Nyabingi drumming and chanting, Martyrs' Day tribute ceremony, and Rastafari reasoning and historical reflections, which I guess joins in with what David was telling us. It's about thought, it's about education.
And once again, just repeat the information.
The information is Thursday, February 19th from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. And all this will be at Root House Rastafari HQ, 32 Hart Street in Montego Bay, St. James.
All right. So that's Dr. Jabi and the team with Martyrs' Day as usual. And then I have here, we talked about Isis this morning, right? And you said that Isis knows your aunt should recognize your boy. So here the text that Isis sent me at 8:37. Now listen closely. Lord Kabu got in from Wiki Waki Festival 4 a.m. and sleep out the running African. Just wake up my bags. Jaja.
Good morning, Isis.
What did I tell you?
You did.
I said she's out, she's sleeping. Poor thing, Pobrecita. All right, so here's one. The Theocracy Reign Order of Nyabingi, Mama Fire Sovereign Center, Rastafari Victory Ground, celebration of 130 years of the victorious Battle of Adwa. This is on Thursday, the 26th of February until Monday, the 2nd of March, 2026. Nyabingi Trod. Oh, yeah, Nyabingi Trod with drums, Rastafari love. So that's the Battle of Ardwa, the victory. The celebration continuing at Mama Faya Sovereign Center, and that's starting on Thursday. It goes all the way through to Monday, March 2, Rastafari Victory Ground.
Yeah. And more Nyabingi coming up. Well, Nyabingi in the city, the I Liberating Africa Born Within in Black History every day, every month. And that's a soft launch and the consecrating of the ground of iNation Books and Necessities new headquarters, which will be on 2A Milk Lane, Queensbridge, Spanish Town Road in West Kingston. And that's tomorrow, 6 p.m. to midnight, and will include groundation ices, drumming, chanting, idle food, natural juice, reasoning, and community energy. And their slogan is Heal the Inner City, Heal Jamaica, Heal the World.
That's a big deal coming from iNation. So this iNation, and for all of you know, all of us know iNation Books, and he's talking about the opening,
yes,
of a special
bookstore, and
that's a big deal.
And and necessities, not just books, and necessities.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me repeat the address. It's Milk Lane, Queensbridge, Spanish Town Road in West Kingston.
iNation, my brother, well done. The launch is tomorrow. What time?
It is from 6 p.m. till midnight.
Right. iNation, well done. Well done. Congratulations on that. It was always going to happen. Well, let's take a quick break.
Get more miles with Ruby's Ultratech. Fuel the difference for peak performance and maximum savings. Drive more and save more. The time by Ruby's Ultratech is...
Now, 8:49, you are inside of the Africa Forum. This is Running African and DJ Collision. Romaine will be in for the big A inside of the Sunday Sunshine at 10 o'clock. My co-host this morning is my sister Aldith Hunker, journalist extraordinaire, global freestyle journalist based in the Netherlands, 90% of the time, and the rest of it in Jamaica. Well, 1% in Suriname.
One, yes, and maybe 0.5% in other countries where I live.
Okay.
And I'm trying to grow the Jamaica part.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I'm working.
I'm rooting for you. You see, I'm in your corner, and I
Thank
know
you.
that probably next time you're here, I'm saying like 50% in Jamaica.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm holding on to that. Right, Roz?
Definitely.
That's where we go, because it's a David just said, it's a thought.
It's a thought.
First comes thought.
And then comes the manifestation of
There
that
you
thought.
go.
Station.
There you go.
Exactly.
I am proof of that. I really am.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Because you say it as if it's normal, but it wasn't. At the time when I was young, wanting this life in the Netherlands, it was a ludicrous idea. Everybody laughed me in my face when I said I would like to be on the radio, and I didn't even think about television at the time. It was radio that I wanted to do. People laughed in my face. Who the hell did I think I was? Looking the way I do, wanting to
And that's
do.
racism, isn't it? That was
Racism,
racial?
and yes, and it was also gender.
Classism? Oh, gender.
Gender
Issues, yes.
So I thought, I don't
As
need
they say,
permission.
South Korea, gender. Which means really.
No, but I learned at an early age that you don't always need to ask for permission to do stuff. You can just start.
That's right, yes.
And do them. And here I am.
So you've always known that you wanted to do journalism.
Yes, radio.
Radio journalism.
Right.
But you've branched out into everything. You're multimedia.
I am now because I found out that other media interest me as well. But radio was the thing I really wanted.
Yeah. And for you, Raz, I know you as an artist extraordinaire, and I know that's what I said to all this. You're pretty humble with the work that you've done, but you've done a lot. Haven't you published also?
Yes, I've done a bit of the movie therapy as well with the youths, especially with the boys. We had as a matter of fact, a PhD student from Ukraine who came to join us in Jamaica to work within the city, And from that, we published some of his work, some of the experience that he had with our youth and the youths, the project of the youth, where we were making film, taking photographs of the inner city, and they became ambassadors. So their whole perception of self changed. The boys loved the big cameras, they felt like they were movie producers now. You know what I mean?
But that's exciting.
Yes, it was very, very exciting. They went out on the street. We got students, we combined with students from Karimak. And in fact, the youth of the streets were teaching them, because many of them never got into these areas. And it was so lovely to see how the boys took care of them, and how proud they were, So, and some of them had ideas. You talk about thoughts?
Yeah.
Some of them had ideas that one day they would want to make film or videos and stuff like that. And here it was. So they jumped to it. And they were very, very wonderful people.
There's so much talent in Jamaica.
Of course.
So anything any Jamaican wants to do, they can do,
But they didn't know this,
We have to tell them.
They never knew this.
We have to tell them.
It's in them.
Yes.
And it was
this is what attracts me to Jamaica in the first place.
It was such a proud moment for me to see the work that came out of it.
I can only imagine.
And the direction that they went, because I wouldn't have known these things. But they painted a downtown situation which was so different from what we would normally hear on the media. Little moments, little community settings, and the people, them is, the fact that they feel that people are always at war, not true.
See, this is what I call freestyle, Kabu. Tell
Not
these
true.
stories. Tell these stories. Because they don't make it to the media.
Yeah.
And we have to keep telling.
Yeah.
I find in 35 years that I've been coming to Jamaica, I've lived here part-time for 22 now. The one thing that I know is that I see in Jamaicans what they don't see in themselves. They're not taught to see it themselves that way. Jamaicans, you are wonderful, wonderful people. Take it from an outsider. Who knows?
No, and it is true that we get this all the time, and sometimes we're looking at you like, what are you talking about? Yeah. But we do get it, especially from Black British people.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with a Black British sister, and she said to me, you don't even understand that when we come from England and when we land in Jamaica, we are, first of all, you land and it's pure Black people, you see, who are dealing with you. And they say, I mean, if you're coming here for the first time, they say, even as Black British, that is alien. And then to step out into Jamaica and see people looking like yourself in every aspect and every element, and leading and guiding and being, in authority in so many different places. So it's a way they tell the story. And then we have the reality of classism. So we understand what you're saying to an extent.
But you're not living it.
But we're not living it.
Right.
What you're seeing, we have to fight for it. And so that the young people who are coming out of the spaces that my sister Roz is talking about, if you look, for example, in athletics, and look at the people who, the elite athletes who literally have dragged themselves up by the bootstraps and literally put themselves on the international stage. It is when they are on the international stage, that is when they begin to get any kind of support, if you will. And sometimes, if you listen to what Asafa Powell said recently, even then, not really. So the struggle is real. But we understand the nuances, right? We understand the outright racism. I mean, I've lived in Britain, and I wouldn't do it for, except I was going to go learn how them do them things, so I can use it back at them.
Education.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it. That's the spirit. Yes.
Yeah. So, but I understand that, because when you go in a bus, for example, in the UK, you can cut the air of racism with a knife, but you only experience that if you're Black.
Right. Exactly.
You understand?
Yes. But here in Jamaica, the system is in place of the colorism, the classism, all the isms.
Yes. And the struggle is still very real.
It is. Yeah. But let me put something in the balance there, because I know Jamaicans look to foreign and think everything is better there. Let me tell you about my personal experience. Right after Melissa, I get WhatsApps from people here in Jamaica, people who went to, their own house was devastated. They went to check on my place.
Yes.
They went to check on my yard. They went to clean up my mango tree that blow. I'm going to tear the eye here, Kabu, because nobody in Europe would do that for me.
And inherently, we are that, though. Inherently.
You are. And
that's
I'm
who
here
we
to
are.
tell you. That's
Yes,
my
yes.
job, to tell Jamaicans who they are.
We welcome it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you think you're losing it because you're losing community.
Yeah.
But
It's there.
But it's there.
Yeah.
And we saw that
Absolutely
during and
with
after
Melissa.
hurricane.
I
Yes.
mean, the outpouring of
Yes.
love.
But I'm from foreign, Roz. Why did they come take care of my stuff? I'm
Let me
from
tell you
foreign.
something. When it come on to Jamaican people, then don't look at it that way.
But that's why
You know?
why don't Jamaican people know that of themselves, that is a great thing.
the grooming again.
Ah, they need to
grooming
change the
again.
education. Let me just shut up for a minute.
No, go right ahead. I'm enjoying. Look, you know, so how me catch. I'm enjoying this.
Yourself. It's
Yes.
been twisted up with how we've been educated.
Yes, it
you know, the
is.
stiff upper lip.
Yeah.
You deny yourself. Any kind of pain you feel,
Right.
push it
Push
away.
it away.
You're strong. You know?
Resilience.
Resilience. Resilience. Hey, what a word.
What are you saying? Are we burying the word resilience?
I am.
Let us put that underfoot. Go down,
Go down.
Babylon.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So we're bearing resilient. Because these words come out of the World Economic Forum every year, right?
Right.
And they tell you which one you're going to use this year.
Exactly.
So this
That's the word for this time.
yeah, it was during COVID that they came with that one. So resilient was in the space
Yes.
for a while.
We don't
So,
want it.
Yes, so but it's still there now because they throw all kinds of so-called natural disasters at you, and you claim it as natural disasters, and then you say you are resilient because you're supposed to say that. Then there's also, you know, so the words coming out of the WAF this year is a new world order. We've been saying that for a while, so we're not going to stop.
Right.
Is geopolitics.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've been saying it for a while. And geopolitical, everything geopolitical, right? So those are the words that are coming out. If you notice, they are now finding their way into political speeches and into ordinary conversations
Exactly.
because the WEF says these are the words. Granted, we've been using them for a very long time.
Yes,
we're
but
not
we
gonna
used to
stop.
have to explain to everybody what we meant by them.
I know.
And now people know.
And now they know. So Mark Carney came out and he gave a non-speech, a speech that said really nothing much, but he was celebrated for it. And this is how crazy we can get, because you celebrate a speech that more or less said nothing.
That's the whole. You've been talking about this for years on end. The whole cultus of the sub-mediocre is what I'll call it. You know, we celebrate not excellence like we used to, but we now celebrate when we're sub-average. This is
Kind of a
part of
populous kind of.
yeah, and
You know,
what do you keep calling it? I call it programming. You call it grooming.
Grooming.
It's the
Yeah.
same
Grooming.
thing. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
How can you keep a people down? Is you tell them that being average is already
I
great.
have to cut right in. I'm so sorry. All right. So we just broke into the ads because Vivienne Stewart, who if you've ever talked to anybody who be running African, you'd have spoken to Vivienne Stewart or Shamara Preston, right? And Shamara's been away for a good little while. Partially away because me don't know what else to do. I've been here up on the radio Tuesday night. And so Vivienne has been such a strength and really a safe harbor during the period of upheaval. Vivienne, hey,
Good
where
morning.
you go?
How are you? We're heading to the west this morning.
Put the microphone closer to you.
We're heading to the west.
Right, don't say
this
exactly where
morning.
you're going.
No,
but-
not telling
right,
you.
yes.
We are on the fourth leg of the rollouts, giving back to persons
Right, 1-1
impacted by
Cocoa.
hurricane, right? The
Yeah.
RFM 1-1 Cocoa
Right.
relief drive.
So the big team is
Yes, so I'm awaiting the others.
all right. So this is how many times? Because this has been going on since a little bit after the hurricane.
A little bit after the hurricane. Mm-hmm.
So the persons are really bringing in what we're asking for.
Yes,
supplies.
and we're so grateful. The support has been overwhelming.
Wow.
Our loyal listeners, we have had a few sponsors as well. And we are really, really grateful. People giving out of the little that they have to help our brothers and sisters in need.
And so IRFM has managed to go into many, many different communities.
A lot of the hardest hit areas. We have been to St. Anne twice. The team went to the Hanover last time, and we're heading back on the road this morning.
Congratulations to the team. And I know it's being led
And
by DJ
Sunshine.
Sunshine. Sunshine, great work, and what leadership on this, that she's gone out and she's really done a brilliant job in leading the team and getting the buy-in from the entire team to not just ensure that things, packaged nicely, but also that the team hit the road.
Yes, and the people who
in a
need the supplies
motorcade.
get them.
Listen, man, that sounds good. We love it. So happy birthday when it comes.
Thank you.
Which is Thursday. And I know you're about like 21.
International Vivian Day.
International. And you notice how she pronounced her name, Vivian. She knows say Vivian like all Jamaican people go say Vivian, all this.
Vivienne. I only found out she said Vivienne on the telephone because I was saying Vivienne.
Oh, it's Vivian.
You were saying Vivian?
Vivienne.
She don't like the Vivian.
But it's French, Vivienne.
So how you say it?
Vivienne.
She got it right.
I know. And, because you know me, I shorten everybody's name to all 2 letters. And so Roz, you know. So, Roz. And all you do know that, right? So you look, it's not like A-H.
Right.
Because I do that too. And so I say Viv. Yeah,
And I like Viv. I like Viv.
She don't like it.
I like Viv.
Oh, you
I
like Viv.
Vivian. I like Viv and I like Vivian.
Oh, Vivian.
Okay, so I'm going to call you Vivienne because that is your true name, Vivienne.
Well, I'm
Yes.
going right back to Viv.
Special people say Viv.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. So happy birthday when it comes
Thank
on
you.
Thursday, Viv, and have a good one. Wednesday's a holiday, right?
Yes, Wednesday's a holiday.
That's what, Ash Wednesday.
Ash
Ash Wednesday.
And then, so you're working on Thursday? Or you have a day off? Well, anyway, we'll leave it at that.
We leave it at that. I would like to say that she did a brilliant job getting me out here. So thank you for that,
thank you
Vivienne.
so
Thank you so
much.
much.
I'd like
Yes.
to say the same thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Viv. All right, safe travel. Have
Thank
a good
you.
one.
All
And
right,
say
enjoy
hi
the
to the
rest of the
team.
show. I'll be listening.
Thank
All
you,
right.
thank you. And say hi to the team, Viv. Vivienne, sorry. But may go right back to Viv because the Vivienne, I'm not going to manage it. I've been trying, though.
It's a
I've been trying. Yeah, let me go back to this. Hey, talking about giving thanks, thank you so much, Andrew Lumsden. I sent you a nice little photograph of what I managed to conjure out of the Jamaica roasted coffee. You know, Jamaica has a whole, coffee, oh, you don't have enough coffee. I don't talk about coffee because you don't have enough coffee. But coffee is a big deal.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And but you're drinking coffee from Sierra Leone, you know.
Am I?
Yeah.
Really?
Why
Why not just Jamaican lovely coffee?
No, because I bought the Sierra Leonean coffee from Sierra Leone, and I kind of shared it with you about this morning.
Okay,
So
thank
that's
you.
what that. So you never say Grace?
Now I understand. Do you?
I had the coffee, you had mint.
I had tea, to be honest.
You had tea.
I had tea.
Oh, you had coffee. So you had a Sierra Leonean
I'm
coffee.
the coffee person. I love coffee.
Yes. So that was coffee.
But did
from
you
Sierra Leone?
notice that it was special coffee?
I didn't. I knew it had a different taste,
It was,
but I
it's
didn't
from
realize
Sierra-
it was.
How generous of you.
Thank
You're
you
welcome
very much.
anytime.
Thank you very much.
You're right. All right, we're going to go to the phone lines where our special guest is standing by. And we told you before that that Dave Tosh will be joining us on the phone lines. Dave, my brother, you there?
Yes, I am, Kabu.
Greetings. So I have in the studio Aldith, our sister Aldith, and also our sister Rosie. They might want to ask you a question or two. But in the meantime, how Westmoreland looking today? I don't know if you're there or you're still in Kingston.
Yeah, well, we come up yesterday over to come chill out for a day or two. So, but down there, it's still just the aftermath of the hurricane. So, in terms of our preparation, yeah, this is the final week where we're going to make a big push and all of them things. But before we even go too far, more for bless up yourself and IRFM and your listeners.
Thank you.
All these years of service to the Peter Touch Foundation and things.
Give thanks.
Saying, yes, but like I'm saying, we're in our final week of preparation, getting things organized. Spoke to the police last week. One thing they're very much concerned about the traffic that's normally parked along, not normally, but over the last was when that park along the roadway, which may understand that because it's a roadway we use is the main thoroughfare for trailers and such like. So
Right.
our interest is to make sure that don't happen this term.
But I remember, Dave, that in previous years, not the last one that we did because we were all parking, along the roadway and so on, but that there was parking behind the house. Is that no longer available?
It is available right now. And that's where I'm working at to make sure that we don't have to put vehicles on the road and that section of property will be available for parking.
Okay.
Including others.
Okay, that would be great. All right.
Yeah.
So that concern is being addressed even as we speak, because we're talking about being right on this, the narrow road that separates the Peter Tosh Memorial Gardens from the sea is really already as narrow as it is. So it makes sense to have that parking area. All right. What other issues are we looking at? Because we're asking, talk to us about what's going to happen there with the range of goods that will be available, because people are coming in with all kinds of stuff for sale. Do you already know what will be there?
No, it would be more likely this week you will know that.
Okay.
Because this is the week when the people will come in and request request a booth and such the like. So we have further things, can discuss that further by midweek or later on in the week. But I am assuming that the regular turnout would be there. I mean, food vendors, beverage, and then there are other things which people may pop up with, even care packages to make sure, because there are people still in need anyway. That's what I deal with.
I think that's a very good point to make. So if you can, when you're coming in, if you take care packages, if you can, and for persons who have other stuff, whether it's tents or,
sleeping bag.
There you go.
What the people need now. People really need to rebuild, and that is what I'm look for. Any little thing where you even want hammer. It's yes, what me say.
Yeah.
So it's that the people I'm look for. So it's like me say, it's part of this where I am now using this opportunity to appeal to the immediate people in Belmont, which I talked to a couple of them, and I know a few of them will be in support and be in their cause. Make them know. So just come in and set up a start, because you know the whole way have to rebuild. Now I'm have to rebuild.
Yes.
Because when the hurricane come, it never come for one man, no stop at the whole way people.
Well, I'll have a talk with DJ Sunshine too, and see, if from the IRFM 11 Cocoa Basket, if the IRFM team will be able to take anything down when we're coming on the weekend, because that would also make sense. Yeah,
we definitely appreciate that, because at least we couldn't throw a piece of yellow yam in the cocoa basket. That's spice it up. So,
Yes.
And I was glad to know that the Peter Touch Foundation is on board and in 100% support of what is happening.
Right.
Yes, and it's like I say, it's a people thing, and that is where we're working towards right now.
We're looking forward to it as usual. I know we're coming in a whole different vibe, because when we were there in October, obviously it was raining. And that was, and we thought that was a big deal. But now you're talking about the aftermath of a hurricane, where so many persons who would have lost their houses, their roofs. I mean, so much has been lost. And well, I can just imagine you've told me what has happened to the house, Peter Tosh's mom's house. So we'll see that when we come down. But I know so. We are expecting, I'm just saying this to the Wild of Jamaica, that we're expecting that when we go, it's not going to be the same as before for those who haven't gone down there before. And this is why we have to travel with the thought in our mind, the thinking that we're also going to assist however we can help. So take what you can in terms of the care packages. I know Belmont Academy is just down the road. Principal Rayon Simpson, we're expecting to see him. So for those persons who are coming in too, and if there's anything you can do to assist the Belmont Academy. Do you know what's the situation now? Because I know that Belmont Academy was hit hard.
Oh. Yeah, I know. I talked to him shortly after the hurricane, and when he told me, I couldn't believe it, because actually when you pass on the roadway, you might see minor damage, but the extent was on the inside and other ways. Yeah. But I don't talk to him recently, but I know him is listening to you right now and myself.
Yes.
Saying that the man we highly respect Peter and what we're doing, and just the whole vibes of the event. That's what I say. So, but I know the school is back up, and basically our school run, when we realize the school running at them ways, it's the student them get to go to school 2 to 3 days per week, because there's not enough accommodation to hold the entire school one time. So some got 3 days, some got 2. Next week, some got 2 and some got 3.
And this is happening across Jamaica. We're not sure if that's what's happening in Belmont, but I can just imagine because of...
But that all along the Westmoreland side, that's the Siagua.
Okay.
Yes, what I say. I assume St. Elizabeth and other places might be a part of it too, because some of the school and even still even occupied by people who will lose their homes. See, so I don't know the thing.
Yeah. Well, we're coming in with Gideon Boots. We're coming to see what needs to be done. And I know the work has been ongoing, because we're talking about a few months that have passed. Yeah. But we're also, and I know that RFM has been in the area and will be back in the area. But on Sunday, the 22nd, we're meeting at the Peter Tosh Memorial Gardens, and we're listening to Peter Tosh. And we're also, the other artists will be there. Tell me about the artists who will be there.
Yeah, well, spoke to a few which here and had this attack the turbulence, and without question or hesitation, I'm glad to come get the people of my strength. Bushman, even Cutty ranks. I mean, them said the hours.
That's a long
just
time.
I go through life journey. That's what I deal with. So the man them are come give us strength, and it's to give back to the people and to open their minds and make them realize. Because a lot of things, just in talking and reasoning, because even the general cut ranks in Massagua, they know enough time I don't get. Very. Yes, what I deal with, but everybody play them role. Yes, what I deal with, and the artists them did turn out, and it's like me, even myself. Initially, when as soon as the word opened, me have my vehicle full and reach a Westmoreland, and once would call me and say, Dave, you need to have photographic evidence of this moment. So let me tell you something, man. So them people are people that I grow with, and half of the community related to. That's what I deal with. And I either know the people in the line, them children or them grandchildren. And there is no way me gonna look no credit after that. I don't know what kind of evidence you need, but you go have to find your own evidence, because I am not going to take my phone to film devastate people living in devastation.
Well, you're Peter Tosh's son, and you just sound like him a while ago. Let me just tell you that.
That is not my type of thing. That's what I deal with.
Kabu, can I ask one question?
Dave, Aldis wants to ask a question. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, Dave, wonderful stuff you're doing. Just tell me, some of us might have other plans for this Sunday. What can you tell them that will sway them and make them come to your event?
What can I tell them? Well, you know, you see this event here, it's not my event. It's more than likely, and not more than likely, it is a IRFM thing. It's not even, not just a IRFM, it's a running African thing. Let me explain to you where this thing started. It started with Kabu came to me one day. She was a little girl named Andrea then.
Yes. We remember those
yeah,
days.
you see, so you know, long me know her then. So anyway, it's out of that. She looked at me and said, yo, Dave, you know, so one do I think for Peter Pan Blackish one.
2005.
Yeah,
2005. Yeah.
I'm looking and say, yeah, man, come here, man, very. And it was underrated, underestimated by all sorts of people. And I say, yo, this is what we want to see. You see, at the end of the day, what the most important thing, she looked at me and said, yo, we're doing this for Bob Marley. And I think Peter Touch deserve the same thing. Which tell me that this event was not created out of one love. It was created out of equal rights.
Yeah, and
See?
justice.
And I make that reference to make you know that even Peter himself said, there cannot be no one love unless every man have equal rights.
Right.
So, having said that, the truth, the show was created out of the truth. And you see, at the end of that day, the first day when Kabu came on IRFM and the Running Africa team, yes, when Kabu finished the day, she was amazed. By 12 o'clock when she turned off the radio in my yard and left it dead silent. The amount of people were in the yard.
You're forgetting one thing. You're forgetting one thing. You know, Big A was there, and Big A broadcast live from there. So when I hand over the baton at 12 o'clock to Big A was in the yard. You know, remember that?
So Big A coming this year.
Well, somebody forgot to tell Big A saying need to come. Big A, that's what they had today. If we tell him, say,
Big A, if you're listening, you have to come.
But Muta will be there.
Muta, yeah.
Muta definitely will be there. And but we need to set to Big A, we'll go west. You know, where there is more
you
land.
Big A now.
Yes.
You want me plan to do with Big A now because I specifically went for a George Nooks who has that Christian vibe. And I am bringing the Christian vibe because Peter Touch himself a church him growing.
That's true.
And it's a Sunday.
The yard is very much a Christian yard.
So make we tell Big A if you come. We're out of time, you know, Dave. Listen. Right. So John, but you said.
So I'm gonna make sure say when you lock off, George, I'm gonna run Big A show because George is a Christian and Big A thing is sunshine thing, and we're in the sunshine, so we have to be a part of it.
All right, Big A here that a George looks at open show next week, son. All right, thank you. Thank you so much. So we have
half hour time theme program next week.
Big A, the man, I'm a beg you off for now. All right, thank you so much, Dave. I'll see you when we come down on Saturday.
All right, bless up yourself,
Kabu. Yeah, give thanks. All right, just to remind you.
I guess.
Yes,
all right.
Bless
Take care. Bye-bye. Yeah. Bless up too.
All right, so it looks like we'll be in Westmoreland.
It looks so.
Yeah. It's just I don't think there's not much we can do about it.
No. We have to go with the flow.
It is what it is, was.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah, we're heading west where there is more land. All right. We're back with you inside of the Africa Forum. It is Running Africa. And so we're inside of the last 20 minutes or so. My very special guest in studio, Rosemary Chung. We call her Rosie. Rosemary's founder and director of Studio 174. She is a graduate in fine arts from Camberwell School of Arts in London. And she uses art as a therapy. We've been having some really, really interesting conversations with Rosie. This is not her first time on the Africa Forum, but she's been away for a while from the program, but she'll be back, I'm sure, in short order.
Definitely.
My co-host is Aldith Hunker. Aldith, as you know, is a freestyle global journalist based in the Netherlands, practicing in world globally, and is in Jamaica. a few percentage of the times. She's co-hosting with me this morning. Aldith, I don't know if you saw Al Jazeera is reporting that, well, the headline says, an African water wars on the horizon as the African Union puts the issue on its agenda. Experts weigh in on challenges from climate change and water scarcity to upstream, downstream conflict and industry abuse. And they go on to say that at the African Union sessions that are underway now in Ethiopia, that this is front and center. The continent is starting 2026 under siege from water-linked climate shocks. And this is happening just as African leaders gather for a summit that puts a precious resource at the center of its agenda. They're all doing this.
They are. Isn't it? Isn't that amazing that all of a sudden we're all talking about water? Yeah. And I can tell you that, 15, 20 years ago, I'm a moderator of conferences a lot of the time as well. And people were trying to put water on the agenda 20 years ago and nobody was listening. And now...
And then all of a sudden...
Now look here.
It's everywhere. This is the year of water, according to the World
Right.
Economic Forum. The United Nations is putting it front and center. Now, with the African Union doing, what are they up to? They're up to something.
They're up to leaving humanity without water.
I noticed in the Epstein files that there was between Epstein and some of the scientists, including Bill Gates, that there is a very protracted conversation going on about fresh water and how Epstein was going to claim Somaliland for
Right.
that purpose, for
that.
fresh water.
Exactly. So fresh water is going to be the next thing that this world is going to war about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to use AI and all kinds of technology
Right.
to have this war. It's not, people are waiting for the bombs, we're already in that war.
We're in it, yes.
And it's not bombs. It's
algorithms.
That's
if you will.
right.
Yes.
Yeah. Rosie, how do you see that?
I totally agree with you, I mean, I think some of this war about oil and everything, yes, oil is very important. We know this. But water. We are what? 70% water?
Exactly.
So any kind of disturbances and change and whatever they do with water would only affect us, even if when we don't get it, it's going to affect our body in such a way that we will perish.
And
everything will perish. Yeah. Everything.
I'm highly alarmed. I don't know about you.
No, so am I. And as you said, we've seen this coming, right, for a few years as well. Here in Jamaica, we have our own particular situation because we have, for the most part, given away through trade deals and all different kinds of deals permanently, a 99-year lease and so on, our freshwater sources.
It's gone.
The rivers are gone. The access to the water, the water shed areas are gone. The head of the massive rivers gone, and waterways are being moved and changed and relocated,
polluted.
It's a crisis. It was always going to be a crisis, and we don't need them to tell us that.
No.
Right? So the question becomes, what do we do about reclaiming our water sources?
It's I don't want to say it's too late, but it's very, very late.
It is late.
It's very, very late.
It is late, and that is the seriousness of it.
Jamaica had, I think I said it earlier, Jamaica had water to sell and sunshine to sell.
Yes.
But Jamaica did not make money on either. Jamaica did not get rich the way it should have gotten out of those two. That is the problem.
And we have given up access to that. So our people can no longer access the water sources. Do you know how serious this is?
No, this is really serious.
So here we are, because and they're telling, so this is a water war. They're using
They're saying it.
They're saying water war.
It says so. I can read it from here. Yeah.
So we've got a food war.
Yeah.
We've got water war. And we know there's a food war in us because when they try to turn cornmeal nowadays, as they put the cornmeal in the water, I turn. I mean, I don't know how that goes.
True.
As they put the cornmeal in the water, I turn. And you know what worse about it, it turns so quick? Is that, you can't make the turn cornmeal like your father used to turn.
True.
Because it is just too soft. You can't
It's
get
refined.
It's
Yeah,
not turned
refined.
cornmeal
I have been
anymore.
looking for coarse cornmeal for weeks.
It's
and
not
it's
cornmeal
not on the
anymore.
island. Nobody
No,
sells
it's
it.
not. It's not here.
It's refined that you can find.
Yes. Everybody eating refined, the dogs and everybody.
It's leading us straight to cancer and death.
That's the point. That is the point. But it's cornmeal porridge because, and turned cornmeal. And turned cornmeal is one of my favorite food.
Mine too.
Mine too.
Well, there you go. But so you see what I do for kind of try and make it not so soft that you just turn pudding. I still eat the cornmeal, I have to confess. So I did something that my dad did, which was to put oil in, not butter.
Right.
But coconut oil.
Yes.
Right. And then the coconut oil will cause it, when you put it in early enough so it won't come together like a pudding situation. That's all I can tell you now.
So now I'm really hungry.
That's the most I can give you. But this is, I think, we have to do more than talk about our water situation. We have this problem of access to water, fresh water and salt water and land, because it's all access to land at the end of the day, the water under land and the river under land. So it's all access to land. So, and this is a critical, serious issue that we're facing in Jamaica that we're not going to know how serious it is until our backs are against the wall, as you said.
Absolutely.
Let it not be the backs of your mural wall. We need to be facing those walls. Yeah. No, but this is serious. This is more serious than we are even grasping right now.
Yes. Because
What are Jamaicans going to drink?
you said earlier bottled water. It's bottled water everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
bottled
I've
water
been in
everywhere.
Jamaica long enough to know, I believe water was free when I first got here for Jamaican people.
Almost. I mean, because
It was like negligible.
exactly.
Right.
You pay to the water commission, but not much.
Right.
Parish council it used to be before.
Something like that.
Right.
So, and it's in your slogan, land of wood and water.
No, for them slogan. No, we don't have nothing to do with that. The thing is that the water sources, the water head.
Yeah.
Most of the water heads are gone. They're privatized. This public-private partnership. So you don't have no access for going to a blue hole like you had before.
Yeah.
Or no river head.
True.
Or no dam head. You don't have that access anymore. Those are all gone.
Right. And because people think that when they buy their bottled water and it says something 876 in it as a little...
I'm not going to go call...
No, sorry.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
But the fact that it says Jamaican water does not mean it's Jamaican water. That's the point.
So I come from a family that has worked with water all their lives, right? I'm a child of Oshun, and as I was born into that, where everybody working in water all them lives and different aspects of water, and when there was one time, not so long ago, when I'd put the bottle of water to my head, and I said no chlorine in there. And I called the manufacturer of the water, and I'm saying I put no chlorine in it. And I said, well, because we come from a family of water, we get somebody to test the water in Montego Bay. And when the water was tested blindly, it had how much percentage of chlorine. It comes straight from the pipe. It came straight from the pipe. It was the percentage of chlorine in there never different from
But you can
the
taste
piped
it.
water.
You can taste it.
But you see it when it settles.
It's a lot of scam, this bottled water thing.
Yeah.
You may as well find something for what you call it? You put for take the chlorine out of your water. Filter.
Yes.
Filter your water.
I filter my water,
Yeah.
and it tastes better than most bottled waters, which are supposedly straight from the spring. That should taste better.
Well, we don't have any with spring, because Jamaicans, you see, you just need to go around Jamaica. We don't have access to the springs.
It's a serious thing. I'm not joking. It's a serious
It's
thing.
a very serious thing. I hope they keep the spring in Beaumont, which we call Beaumont, Philly, because that's our next thing. We will come from up there, so we have to make up our mind to go home. Who says you can't go home again? We have to go home. A lot of the rivers have dried up, and we're saying that is... we're being told that it's climate change. But if you follow the river to the head of the river, you'll see where the public-private partnership change the river course and have it to do for them own thing.
That's what's happening.
So this is where we find ourselves at 9 minutes to 10 o'clock. The question is, what do we do about it? Because if we do not care, I'm going to go back to the Epstein file because it looked like, say, is my romantic that. So I'm going through it, and I said, I put it down for a minute, and I stood up. And I walk through my house, and me kind of walk again and come back and walk again. But the thought that kept going through my mind is, if we do not care to know, then we'll never know. And if we do not know, then we'll never understand why what is happening to us is happening to us, and we'll never be able to change it.
Right?
And this is the thing that kept going through my head over and over and over. Because it's not that we don't have the information out there to know. We do not want to know.
We just don't want to. We just close our eyes because it's so complicated, because it's so much. It's overwhelming.
Yes.
It's a very human and natural reaction to say
we need
too much.
to know.
We do.
We need to know. We
Especially,
need to know.
those of us, those of you
Yes.
with children and grandchildren. My line ends with me.
Look at Mr. Big A. Look at
Mr. Big A is
He's saying to me, don't say anything. And I'm like, before he go leave, me just say, do you know how you look so good? I'm going, hello, where you going? Where you going? Oh, you going on a one-on cocoa mission? Then you after I go so sexy is what? Big A, you must behave yourself. You just won. Because I saw Vivian? Yeah.
Vivienne.
But we were telling... Oh, you're the deacon. Oh, okay. I'm very happy you came in because we were telling people that you are on your way. You're running in the Sigma. That's what I said, that you're going to run. Mm. You're a different kind of mission. All right. Well, you smell good and you look good. And we're very happy to see you. That's Aldith Hunker.
Nice to meet you, Big A. Yeah.
And that's Rosie Chung. And this is Mr. Big A.
Mr. Big A, indeed.
There you go. What? Oh, there's no Mr. and Big A. I'm so sorry. Pardon no more.
Okay.
Por favor.
S'il vous plaît.
You're welcome. So anyway, Big A.
Yeah.
What's the discussion?
So many.
We're talking about water and the lack of water and the fact that everybody's put water on their agenda for 2026. But in terms of losing access to fresh water. But you come from a place where there are many rivers. At least you live in a place where there are many rivers.
I will hope.
Yeah, because you can tell. It's a place green.
Where, up in the hills?
No, the other hills.
Rostock?
No. Well, I don't know about water and bones, so but I'm talking where you live now.
In the hill, right beside? There's a river that runs.
A river runs through it.
Not through the property.
Okay. There must be a massive river that goes.
No, but the irony though of that is that when rainfall, we don't have no water.
I can identify with that because of turbidity.
Yeah.
Well, they call it turbidity.
Right. So I know you are a professional in that department.
Yes, I am.
With your years of experience.
I was just telling him that this is where I come from. My family come from water. Yeah. So that's why we were able to test the bottled water and find out there's a chlorine in there. Mm-hmm. So the bottled water is the same as the water that comes from the pipe. No, it was a specific bottled water, not all of them.
Exactly.
If you want to find out if chlorine...
Because in fact, there is a destination on some of these bottled waters that it is just pure.
Wait, we're hearing you?
Yes, no, we.
Are you hearing Big A?
I'm hearing him, but I know from experience that we hardly ever hear what Big A says when you talk
And him
to
have a
him.
microphone right there, so you know why I
Take
keep
the
telling him to
microphone.
grab the microphone.
Yeah,
Yes,
we're
let me hear
professionals.
what he's saying.
There's a designation.
Yeah.
There is a designation on some of the bottled waters that says purified water, which essentially is just water, tap water, that is that they run through
Or that them
filters,
filter, right.
as opposed to
Natural spring water, right.
But even the natural spring water, I don't know if you hear me, Big A, even the natural spring water doesn't taste the way it used to.
She's saying even the natural spring water don't taste the way it used to. But the test that I ran on the water was on a water that called itself natural spring water.
There you go.
And a very, very, very prominent one. Let me just say.
Well, that is deception.
Well, there's a lot of that going on.
That is deception.
Yeah.
If you're selling purified water as spring water, that is.
Well, this is Jamaica. I'm going to say something here.
No,
This is America.
not just Jamaica now. This is everywhere. Deception. You know, they put all kinds of things on labels that are just not true once you test them.
So when you say label it, because, you know, we have a tendency to say, at least label it. We all march and say label.
Yeah.
You know, label GMO. But
And,
if it's
and
GMO.
we should label, but not every label tells the truth.
The truth. Well, there you go.
Is it possible that we can find ways, research, and put mineralize our water then? Since it's the quality has changed so much, because it's the absence of the minerals in the water that we're drinking that does absolutely nothing for us. Absolutely nothing for us.
I am wondering if the water is actually coming from the springs. The water seems to be coming from the pipes.
Yeah.
That's a point.
Yeah.
You see, that would not even go back to the mineral springs.
Or the water comes on a ship,
But can we
on a bin
change that?
container.
Can
Or
we
you
change the
don't
water
know.
coming out of the pipes with adding something to it? Like they have...
Oh, you mean you mean the water that when we turn on our tap?
Yes. Not just the filter, you know, but I believe
Add some
that...
of the alkaline and all the minerals.
Yes,
is what
I
you're saying.
understand there's certain salts you can put into water and it brings back some of the minerals.
But
Is
Rosie,
it-
nothing beats natural.
Well,
And, you know,
And the thing about it is that a lot of our water come from springs in Jamaica, especially in the rural areas. A lot of our water come from supposedly, yeah, well, it does really, because we know these springs,
right.
you know, come from springs, and and that is why we're so concerned about what's happening with the watershed
Right.
areas, because the Rio Bueno watershed area is a massive area, and that is, we don't control that anymore.
that's the one in Trelawney?
No, because it extends all the way to Trelawney from White River all the way.
Wow.
So that real Bueno watershed area. So even though it seems as if it's a little place that you give to China, but that is a watershed area that is connected to that entire Rio Bueno watershed area.
Exactly.
So you see, so all the way to Clarendon. Hey, Deacon. Welcome. Where's Big A? You see Big A?